The only reason why I feel so strongly about mantra is because music is such a big part of everyone's life. You got a playlist for when you're heartbroken. You got a playlist for when you're in love. If as a band we can live what we speak, so not just know the way, not just show the way, but actually go the way. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, head in my hands, and I remember just turning to her saying, I don't want to do this anymore.
All right, guys, it's time to get some mantra, music, and meditation into your lives. Radhika Das is on his India tour 2025, and wherever you are in this country, chances are you're going to be able to catch a concert very near where you are. Pretty much all of November, he's in India. On the 16th, it's Delhi, 22nd, Kolkata, 26th, Indore, 19th is Jaipur, 25th is Pune, 28th is Bengaluru, 21st Chandigarh, 23rd Ahmedabad, and 29th in Mumbai. If you cannot remember those listings, no problems. All you have to do is get on to District by Zomato, the app, or get on the World Wide Web and get on to District by Zomato, and the listings are all there in a key visual that's out there. It's an initiative by Ava Live, and we're very, very happy to have Radhika Das in studio. Wonderful to see you. How are you?
Grateful, yeah, very, very happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me, Hrishi.
So I believe Ravi is the real name.
Well, that was my birth name.
Your
That's what I was
birth name.
born with, yeah.
So when did Ravi become Radhika Das? And I know it's important that we don't just say Radhika, but we say Radhika Das.
Yeah, thanks for saying that, yeah.
Because, my dad was very closely associated with the ISKCON movement for a while, and he always said that you can't take Das in isolation or the first name in isolation. It has to be the server.
Yeah, who you're serving. So when it happened was 2017. I took spiritual vows with my teacher, and the name change went from Ravi to what everyone thinks is a girl's name, Radhika. But you said it very correctly, the Das is the most important part, which means one who serves. So I'm trying my best to serve the Supreme who's known by many names, Radha, Krishna, etc.
And I find it very fascinating that it's a wonderful mix of people who come to your concerts and your kirtans. It's not just about Hinduism or Hindutva. You find people from all religions who find peace and calm and tranquility coming to a Radhika Das concert. And that's very important to you, isn't it?
I think so, because I think a connection with God is universal. And I think that people are looking for that connection. Yes, it's done through ancient Vedic mantra, but I think that we can't discount the fact that people are looking for this all over the world in all different types of cultures. And as Rumi says, who goes by many names, God who goes by many names, but keeps repeating the same 4 words, come dance with me.
Beautiful. There are ways to get close to the Almighty. For example, they say that Meera ji, Aisi lagi lagan, Meera ho gayi magan, for example. Meera ji just said Krishna, 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 and she became one with Krishna.
Yeah.
One with the Lord. The other end of the spectrum, there are people who say, maybe I don't want to chant a mantra, maybe I should just concentrate on my breath.
Sure.
And, that is the way to reach salvation. Would you say to each his own?
Yeah.
Or would you try to tell us the merits of chanting the God's name?
I think that any path that connects you to the Supreme is one that you should take. I think it's every person's entitled to their own approach. The only reason why I feel so strongly about mantra is because music is such a big part of everyone's life. Like, you got a playlist, I'm sure, for when you're working out, or when you're cooking at home, or when you're stuck in traffic. You got a playlist for when you're heartbroken. You got a playlist for when you're in love. You got a playlist for everything. And what I think mantra is a playlist for the soul. It's a chance for you through music to connect with divinity, with the Supreme, with God. And I think that that's really special. I think that we are so moved by sound. If your phone is ringing right now, your attention and consciousness goes there. If the car is hooting at you, you have to pay attention. And so mantra music helps you to pay attention to that which is greater.
That's lovely. And around the world, obviously in India, there are lots of people who understand the kirtan, the bhajan.
Yeah.
Most even sing along with you.
Yeah.
Would you say there are other countries that you find wonderful to perform to? You know, the UK I know has a substantial Indian population,
Yeah.
but somewhere maybe in the West that you've performed at, where there are lots of non-Indian or non-diaspora people who are very passionate about your music. Talk about that.
I think that with the explosion of yoga and wellness across the world, see, like the West is trying to combat the issues of mental health, and India is now cottoning on as well. That mental wellness, that wellness of the body, mind, and soul is really important. It's not just about how much you have in your bank account, it's not about how many influential friends you have, but you have to have peace of mind. And so people are looking for ways in which they can do that without substance. And so mantra and yoga have been so closely linked, but only recently have we seen that people are willing now to turn towards mantra music and away from just having a lyricless playlist of, you know, calming music. That does it for a little while when you have a chance to just lie down on a yoga mat. But what about when you're on the go? You know, you need something to engage the mind. And so people are realizing how powerful and how quick and easy it is to connect with mantra. And so, yeah, Western people from all, I mean, we just did a tour in the USA where there were thousands of people that came to the concert and people that were not from the Indian origin. And I think it's because this is the time for India. This is the time for spirituality to be the export of India. And people are actually turning toward, like, thousands of people come to Vrindavan and to Rishikesh and, you know, all these places of pilgrimage because they're looking for it. And so it's time that I think India owned its spirituality and shared it with the world.
That's very beautifully put. Did you grow up in the UK?
Grew up in the UK.
Whereabouts?
In northwest London.
Okay, so last night I was in an airplane. I was coming from Delhi to Mumbai.
Cool.
And I saw this incredible documentary which I downloaded on my iPad on Freddie Flintoff, the cricketer. It's just called Flintoff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about, as he's a northerner lad.
Yeah.
And
From
there was a
Yorkshire.
time he was the best cricketer in the world, perhaps, won England the Ashes. And he didn't know what to do after reaching the pinnacle of reaching the mountain. And in England, at least at the time, and I hope it's changed, it, you know, people would, it's such a normal part of UK life to go to the pub and have a few. So if you're sad, you do that. If you're happy, you do that. Anything that happens, you do that.
Yep.
And he said that's how it started. You know, he was on top of the world. Until he was 17, he didn't even touch a drop of alcohol. And here he just kept drinking himself silly. And he fell off the pinnacle. And then ultimately, you know, he went on, had an accident, and then life came full circle.
Yeah.
And indeed, having seen that very closely in your culture about how people just, you know, alcohol is considered such a normal thing, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah. Are more and more people now realizing the merits of a spiritual way of life?
You know what it is? When you're exposed to something so easily and freely, like you could literally walk around any street corner and find a pub in London, in the UK. It's very, very normal that it hits 5 o'clock, you're in the pub.
Yeah, it's like finding a mandir.
Yeah, basically. But what's really interesting for me is when I come to India, I'm starting to see that culture start to come here. I mean, come here, it's already here.
Sorry.
And the one thing that India, in my opinion, hasn't yet realized is that this is going to create an epidemic or pandemic of addiction. And that's going to lead to a lot of mental instability, a lot of loneliness, lots of depression. And then it will come high time that people are looking for solutions. And you're going to get, I mean, I don't know whether you already have them, but addiction centers in Mumbai, which are going to treat people. You're going to get therapists, which are going to be paid millions and millions of rupees to be treating people. And I think that this is something that the world has realized, that actually you can't fix things from the outside in. You've got to start from the inside. And it sounds cheesy and all that stuff, but at the same time, it might be the answer that people are looking for, and people are finding it through spirituality. We're seeing, you know, a huge wave of spiritual music. Rishabh Sharma, Janavi Harrison, Krishna Das is coming to India. I'm coming to India. I'm going global. These guys are going global because people are realizing that there needs to be another solution. and an easy access solution of that.
Tell me about the band. I mean, your key visual has this lovely picture. Go and check it out on District, guys. Also get tickets. They're going out very, very fast for the gigs in November. All you have to do is search for Radhika Das on District by Zomato, and they'll pop up. There's a lovely picture of you with a harmonium slung around your neck.
Yeah.
Who else is in the band? You want to just shout out and things like that? How
I've
many
got
musicians? Yeah.
An incredible band of 10 musicians coming from all over the world, from the UK, the US, from Europe. And we all get on really well. We're all bought in, we all practice this privately. It's not like it's a band that just comes together to play music, but we're all invested in it. And even though, like, when you look at us all, you might think, but these guys aren't spiritual. They're not wearing dhoti, and they don't have any tilak and tikka, and they don't even have a shika at the back, any hair coming out the back. But we all live this, and I think it's because we've come to the essence point, which is that you can be a lover of God in suit and tie, that it doesn't matter about dress. And I think that's what people are really attracted by.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Yeah, here we go.
But are you seriously saying that when you hire a guitar player or a bass player,
Yeah.
you don't hire them only for their musicianship, but they've got to believe in Krishna. They've got to believe in God.
They have to have some inkling towards the spiritual and see this as a greater path. Because see, like, guitarists are a dime a dozen, drummers are a dime a dozen. But if as a band we can live what we speak, to not just know the way, not just show the way, but actually go the way, I think people can feel that. People are sensitive to, these guys are just putting on a show. They're just like, here to make money or whatever. But see, my mission is much greater than that. And I think that that's been the appeal so far. I'm trying my best. I'm not perfect, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I'm really trying to live what I speak and not just pretend. And that's why I try to live, in one sense, from the outside perspective, normally. Like, I wear what I wear, I talk as I talk. I'm not trying to pretend to be a guru or anything of the sort. But I'm trying to live a message that helps people to live a life less ordinary.
That's lovely. So 10 musicians, tell me about them. Tell me about what they're playing. I mean, what kind of
instruments? I've got Kaylee Woods on the guitar, Ananda Monet on vocals. I've got Rex playing bass guitar. I've got Abhay on mridanga. I've got Premanjali on vocals. These are guys that if you watch my YouTube videos, you'll definitely recognize them. I think that every time I go anywhere, they're like, oh, where's the original Union Chapel band? And so we're all reuniting for this really, really special tour in India. So yeah, I'm missing you guys. If you guys ever hear this, I'm really missing you. I can't wait to tour with you all in November.
I have to say this, that you had me at mridangam.
Oh yeah?
As a South Indian boy, growing up in Mumbai,
yeah,
it's just such a sweet sound, isn't it? And I find it quite fascinating that you would have a regular drummer there, but still have a mridangam.
For sure.
Because the tonal quality is so different, isn't it?
Totally different. But there's something about the rhythm of the mridangam that it gets the heart pumping. It's when it gets grooving. You guys will not be sitting on those chairs for long. Let me say it that way.
Did you have an epiphany or a moment where it all turned for you? Or was it a very gradual thing, Radhika Das?
I think there were many moments, but I had to keep on the momentum to make the transformation happen. I think one moment that I can tell you about now is I was standing in a student night club one night. It was a foam party. I don't know, have you ever been to a foam party?
No.
So it's like the whole club is filled with foam. And it's
you mean like foam?
Yeah, like
actual foam,
bubbles and foam.
Yeah, bubbles, yeah.
And so I'm in this
We have
club.
our own version of it on Holi. With just lots of water and piscaries.
It's basically that, and it is just as disgusting as well. It gets quite dirty in there. And I was standing there, and I just remember the floors were sticky. I had a Jack Daniels and Coke in my hand at the time. I don't drink anymore. I don't smoke or anything. But at that time, I was doing everything under the sun. And I remember standing in the club, and I just turned to my girlfriend, who's now my wife. Shout out, wife, if you're listening.
Oh, lovely.
And I just said to her, I want to get out of here. And she's like, all right, we just got here like 10 minutes. So can we not just have a few drinks and then go? So no, I just really want to get out of here. So we go home, back to my apartment, and I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, and I've got my head in my hands, and I'm just like really like thinking my life through, because for the last 10 years I've been partying like crazy. In London you can start partying when you're 16 basically. And so I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, head in my hands, and I remember just turning to her saying, I don't want to do this anymore. And she looked at me and she said, you're breaking up with me. I was like, no, I just don't want to do this drinking and all. And she goes, so what the hell do you want to do then? And I said, I think I want to explore spirituality and share that with others. And I looked at her like a bit nervous because I didn't know how she was going to take it. And she looked at me and she said, all right, let's do that then. So the next day we printed out these flyers in the library. We went and we printed out a flyer which had the words, what would you do if you had 24 hours to live?
You guys was in college at the time?
Yeah, university.
University.
And so we printed out, I've never promoted a damn thing in my life. Never ever told someone to come to an event, nothing like that. But we handed out these flyers.
But that's a very interesting one-liner.
Yeah, I can tell you more about it. And so we put these flyers out. I spoke to tons of students, and the next day in the room, I put 3 chairs because I was like, who is gonna come to this? Like the students, they want to party. Like who's gonna come to an event about spirituality? And I kid you not, I've got photos to prove it. The first event we had 75 people show, and then week 2 we had 150 people show. And then for the rest of the 3 years I was at university, week on week, 150 people would show. And they just know, they're like, these guys are spiritual guys on campus. They're not trying to convert us to anything, but they're talking about real things. Like with that topic, what would you do if you had 24 hours to live? Did you know that no one knows they're gonna die unless they've got an illness? Michael Jackson didn't know. Yeah. Elvis Presley didn't know. JFK didn't know he was going to get assassinated. And the most amazing thing that Yudhishthir Maharaj shares in the Mahabharata is that we all see death happening all around us, but we never think it's going to happen to us. That's the most amazing thing, isn't it? We see it happening everywhere, but can you imagine this body's going to go? This is not going to be forever. And so when we shared these kind of small little stories and points, people were just so much enamored and so much appreciating living life less ordinary. And that's kind of like my motto for life. That yeah, you know, if you're gonna live life partying and eating, sleeping, raving and repeating, then cool. But deep down, I'm sure you even know, and if you're listening to this right now, you can probably even feel that this life is meant for more. And so my message to you right now, here and now, is don't give up on the search. Like really look for what is life's essence, and don't miss the opportunity of this human form of life where you've got a brain and a consciousness and intelligence to think about something greater and deeper. And it's all there in our books.
It's incredible. I'm just curious what kind of music you grew up on, considering you have a full-fledged band and you're now playing the kind of music and singing the kind of music that you do. Let me give you a classic example. West London boys, Jay Sean, Hrishi Rich, Juggy D.
These guys are my guys.
Yeah, they're all mates of mine. Whenever they have an India tour, they're here in the same studio, sitting in the chairs that you're sitting in.
I'm big fans.
And, you know, and I'm talking to them, and these boys grew up with some really diverse influences.
Oh, yeah.
You know, growing up in West London, there was reggae music happening in one corner, there was the Bhangra happening, and of course, mainstream R&B.
Yeah.
And they were like, we could have gone any way, you know?
Fully.
So, because in India, Bollywood is just so all-pervasive. And that's not the way it is in the UK.
Not at all, no.
And then you ask other desis, like Apache Indian who's from Birmingham.
Yeah.
And he'll talk about how he grew up, you know, listening to UB40 and some punk rock and things like that. Yeah. So what were you listening to?
I mean, all of those above that you shared, Jay Sean, Hrishi Rich, Jagadi, you guys are like legends in my eyes. I was listening to Linkin Park even. Wow. I used to listen to, the Beatles were a big influence in my life. I used to listen to, the name is now disappearing from my mind. The famous drum solo. I can feel it coming in the air.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
Big shout out to Phil Collins. He's in hospital in London. He's not doing very well.
Yeah, big
In fact, Sir Paul McCartney went and played some guitar for him by his bedside.
Yeah.
But what a drummer, what a vocalist.
Yeah, so these are all influences, and you know, I'm not into just boxing myself into listening to only one particular type of music. But I think, you know what it is right now in my life, in where I am in my life right now, I feel really attracted by mantra music. So it's not like I'm disciplining myself and forcing myself to listen to it. I actually really love it. So you'll hear reggae influences coming too.
Ah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So how long are these gigs? The India tour in November, each gig would be what, a couple of hours?
Couple of hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah, it depends. You know, if we get kicking, we might lock the doors and go all night.
The encore just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, it's happened before.
That's lovely. And do you take like an intermission?
No, there won't be an intermission.
No opening act either?
No.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you just
You'll be
get there
surprised
and
how
go.
quickly the time will go. Like people
lovely.
walk in and they walk out going, how was that 2.5 hours? But it's an immersive experience, and I think that people are gonna hear about this all across India. You're hearing it here first, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna change the landscape. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens.
I wonder if you talk to your audience a lot. Let
Mm-hmm.
me explain myself. Because a lot of these shlokas that you're going to be performing are
Mm.
from the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavad. And some of them might need translation because they're in authentic Sanskrit,
Yeah.
you know. Do you do that? Do you
Yeah, for
explain
sure.
stuff? Yeah.
That's my whole USP. It's about trying to make it relevant and accessible. See, I think that if you want, like I said earlier, if you want a really good idea, go and read some really old books. And I think there's so much ancient wisdom that still applies to modern times. Because you think about it, the world in which we live in hasn't really changed in its essence that much. Yeah, fine, the details may have changed, like the technology we use, AI is coming through, people are arguing in slightly different slang now that they were 10 years ago, but the essence of our issues are still very much the same. We're fighting over land, we're fighting over resources, we're fighting over what side of the armies you decide, what political parties you decide on, which food and restaurant is better. It's the same issues recycled again and again.
And you mentioned the Mahabharata, brothers are fighting.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy.
The essence is very much still the same. That we need to understand, in my opinion, that we're meant for something more than just this material absorption. We're meant for something more. We're not material beings that go to the temple and have a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a material experience. It's the flip 180. We're trying to share that.
What would be your most favorite shloka from the Bhagavad Gita? And when you say it, please explain it in English.
Sure. Well, I've got so many. Well, one that I was sharing yesterday, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Priyachati. Krishna says in Gita that offer me with love and devotion a simple fruit, a flower, a leaf, or water, and I will accept it. And the idea is that, you know, today we can offer way more than a fruit, a flower, and a leaf, and water. There's so many things we can offer God, but love and devotion is what's important. It's not about how much you give, it's about how you give it. Like, even if you're in a conversation, it's not about how much time you give in that conversation. It's about the energy with which you give that conversation. It's about the love with which you give that conversation. And so that's all that, you know, Bhakti is really teaching. Like this tradition of Kirtan is even teaching, mantra is teaching, is that you just try and, whatever you do, whatever little you do, offer it in some way to a higher purpose. Even if you can't yet get your mouth around the word God, even if you can't get your head around Krishna and ancient times, then fine, use some modern language. Do it for higher purpose. Do it for something greater than just eating and sleeping and raving and repeating. Do it for something higher. Live a life less ordinary.
For those of you who are not familiar with what the Bhagavad Gita is, it's actually remarkable.
For sure.
It's Arjuna in the war, in Yudh, and the Lord actually speaking to him at a time when he's in a huge quandary. You know, he's shaking at the knees because he's going to have to fight his mentors, his brothers, his family, and everything.
Yeah.
And in that aspect, Lord Krishna is such a wonderful Lord, isn't he? I mean, he's naughty, he's playful. As a child, he was known as Makhan Chor.
Yeah. I mean, I have this saying that I don't love Krishna because he's God. I love God because he's Krishna.
Ah, that's beautiful.
You know, the sweetness of our Vedic tradition and the Gita and Bhagavatam. Honestly, like it's way better than any TV show I've ever watched. The drama, but the lessons, the essence, it's just like...
Yeah, and the rivalries, Kans, Mama, all these things, you know, it's just...
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, I know that India is trying to, in one sense, move away from that because we're trying to be more like the West. I get it, but just see the trend. The West is coming east. We're all coming here. Coldplay's coming to India. Ed Sheeran's coming to India. The biggest artists are coming to India, not just because of monetization, because they feel there's something here. So my message would be to any listener that's, you know, feeling what I'm saying right now is try to remain with the essence of your culture and your authentic culture, because it's so beautiful, so beautiful.
There's so much said about Sanatan Dharma these days.
Mm-hmm.
What to you is Sanatan Dharma, and what appeals to you most about Sanatan Dharma?
I would say the universality. Like, I like that it's not about promotion and conversion, but it's more about attraction. You know, we're not, as Sanatan Dharmis, I think that the principle is that we're not trying to make everyone like us. We're just trying to show people that there's a way of life in which you can live in an elevated way, in an elevated state of mind, of consciousness. And so the universality of that, like, people really appreciate it. That we're not out to just change you and change your life and how you do things. No, just add a little bit of this and you'll see your life transform.
I find, and for those of you watching us in video, you know what I'm talking about. But those of you who are listening to us on pure audio, Radhika Das has a tattoo in Bangla.
Here we go. Can you read
That's quite
it?
interesting. Oh my God.
I'm testing you here, man.
Robina.
I'm going to put him out of his misery.
Yeah,
I'm going to put him out of his misery. It says, Harer Nam Eva Kevalam.
Wow.
Which means the holy name alone is everything. And so the names of God are my everything. They are my temple.
Are you Bengali?
No,
you're not.
This is a script that's written by a saint, Sri Chaitanya, 500 years ago.
That is amazing.
He would go, his whole life was based on going village to village and just telling people chant. Just telling people, just stay with a name. There's this beautiful verse that comes to mind. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Binatva Nama Namino. And that was just to show off that I can say the verse. But the end part of that verse is really powerful. Why? Because it says Binatvan Nama Namino, which means that the name of God is non-different from God. The name of God is non-different. And so Harer Nam Eva Kevalam means that the name for me is everything. I may not be shaved up and in a temple, but my temple is that of the name.
And what's the one below that?
Underneath, oh, that's the first tattoo I ever got. That's, this way it says my father's name, Suresh.
Ah.
And this way it says my mother's name, Bhavna.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, to be honest, I got it because I thought that my parents would be okay with me having a tattoo, but they were not okay. it was a very...
Mom and Dad, see, I got your name tattooed all over my arm.
I love you guys. I love you so much.
But this is lovely. I like that you're approaching it. I mean, why should the gospel guys be the only ones who have a professional way of going about things? You go to the US and gospel artists have their own charts.
Yeah.
They go on tour, they have their own managers, and there's ticketing and things like that.
Yeah.
And why not? I mean, even though you're serving God, I'm sure you get asked this a lot. You have ticket prices, but I'm sure you have a manager, you have people, an entourage who help you do this
I wouldn't
at
be
a
sat here
concert
without
scale.
it. I wouldn't be sat here getting the PR. I wouldn't be sat here getting people to hear me without it. The honest truth is that I've come to the conclusion that, look, this is not the easiest way to make money. There's a lot of work. I'm like working Saturdays, Sundays, and I don't get the holidays that everyone else gets. But I go home deeply satisfied and deeply happy. Why? Because I'm serving my purpose. But when you speak about the professionalism, I think that's what people are attracted by. Like, if I put up a scraggly video on Instagram and I came in this room having not showered and unshaved and not looking presentable.
I'd rather go to my local mandir and sit in the kirtan.
Yeah, you might as well, but like, the idea is I'm trying to reach an audience that ordinarily won't go to the mandir. They're like, no, I'm disenchanted with that. That's my parents' temple. So my idea is to bring people to a new age temple, which is the temple of the name.
Lovely. Infinitely cooler.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to make it cool. I've got a few years of being still cool, I think.
All of you, mantra, music, meditation. Radhika Das is on his India tour 2025, all through November. There are dates in most corners of this country. If you're in the west of India, there's a gig in Pune and Ahmedabad, and of course right here in Mumbai city where we're broadcasting out of. In the north, you've got Delhi, you've got Jaipur, you've got Chandigarh. In central India, you've got Indore. And if you're looking at the south, he is definitely going to Bengaluru to do a gig. And all you Kolkatans, Remember when you meet him to check out his tattoo in Bangla. All tickets are at District by Zomato. They're going out fast, so please go get them right away. Get the District app onto your mobile phone or get online and get the tickets for that gig. I wish you all the best for the tour, and hope to have you back very soon.
You're a
Yeah?
legend, Hrishi. Thank you so much
Cheers.
for having me on here.
Thank you very
Appreciate it,
much.
brother.
94.3 Radio 1.